BattleGrounds game. I was gonna play a game of chess, and then it took forever for my streaming software to show up when I went to load it. So I started a game of BattleGrounds, and I think I'll probably still make a video about a game of chess as well. I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to... You take damage. Yeah. I could have gotten this guy. It's probably a good idea. I could have played this guy and then transformed him with my hero power. But I'm just going to take a hit here and level up. I think it's more important to stay on target. So I don't want this guy. I'm going to transform him. Maybe I'll get something better. Zubot is not better. So we will sell him, buy these two.
It's good to get some minions in play.
I said. Alrighty then. And each of these guys has different hero powers, like I talked about.
I think you can win this thing.
I'm not going to go over each one of them because they're all different. They all involve different strategies. But that's why this game is so good. Okay, good. We tie here. There's so many different things. Like you've got death rattles, you've got buffs, you've got demon builds and beast builds and all kinds of builds. So there's no synergy between these cards. And this is the worst one. So let's see what he gives us. And that gives us something to work with. I think we do him. So we get to buy two here. It's a privilege. Get two. So boom, boom. He gains, actually we'll put him first because, well, let's see. Yeah, he has 3 Murlocs. He's gonna gain attack because every Murloc gives him more attack. And as they die, he gets less attack. So we want to put him first. On first glance, oh, he is a dragon. This guy gets better, he gets stronger every time one of his dragon friends kills somebody. So I was thinking we were going to tie or win, but this guy kind of swung the balance when he killed somebody. That was actually, that extra 2, he gets +2/+2, that's a big difference.
I've got some fresh recruits for you.
Okay. So we could level and buy one, but these two really work well together. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to get a little bit behind on leveling. Not the biggest deal in the world. And we're going to, maybe we'll change him into an imp guy. Okay. That was about the same. And we are going to freeze for this guy. This is one of the strongest units in the early game, and it's even strong in the mid and the late game, because you can get, like, you can triple it, then it's +2/+2 to all your guys. Then if you can get that Baron Rivendare that doubles your death rattle minions effect, then he becomes even stronger. You know, he gets double and triple.
You're doing great out there.
So very strong unit. Next turn, I think we're gonna level, buy him. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. It was 4 gold this turn. It goes down by 1 gold to level every turn. So we're gonna go down to 3 gold. We go up to 8 gold here. So we buy, we level. That's 3. We have 5 left. We buy 1. We might be able to sell 1 minion and buy another one. So we shall see.
Your minions really pulled
Like,
their
for instance,
weight.
I don't want that guy. So there's 2 ways I could do this. I could transform him, in which case the bad dude is stuck on my board, but I don't think you can get worse than him at 2. So I think I transform him, and if he sucks, then I'll just roll. I can try to transform him, and then I buy something. Okay, 2-4 is not bad. So we want to put him early because when he attacks, he doubles his attack. And since we have a dragon and a murloc, and this guy is super strong, we're going to buy this. If we can find a beast, that one Zubat, it buffs a dragon, a murloc, and a beast. So you can get 3 guys improved in one go. We need to kill this guy, because he doubles the summons. Boom, boom. Now we don't need to kill him for this. He's already done all his work. Whenever something summons something else, Khadgar helps him out. He's like, why don't you summon twice as many? Because what you're doing right now is just not enough. Wonder if I could have sold 2 guys to... No, I still would have had to freeze. So, I think... I mean, I'm definitely buying this guy. And maybe I want to sell this because I want to buff this. I want this guy to get the buff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this guy. I'm going to buy this guy. Now I'm going to roll. I have a 3-drop that I don't want because this guy is good with demons. So I'm going to see if I can turn him to somebody else. Now that's interesting. I'm pretty strong right now. This guy is kind of like a high rolly card. So, okay, so I'm going to buy the pair, sell one guy,
but it'll fight.
sold a pair. It's not the greatest. We're going to do this, and this. No, I should have bought him. Okay, never mind. I was going to buy him. Why didn't I buy him? I was like, oh, if I buy him, then I'm going to have to spend 3 gold. Okay, that one dude, he changes to a new card every turn. So he can give you something amazing, or he can give you something terrible. Like this guy, he could have gotten this off of that dude, the Shifter. He's called Shifter Xeris. Most likely he got the triple, because he's on Tavern Tier 4. And that guy's a level 5 guy. And he's pretty darn strong. But, needless to say, I messed up last turn. Like, I floated a gold, I didn't buy the guy I wanted, but I did get a pair.
How's it going out there?
Okay, I want to show you what Shifter Xeris can do. And he may do the worst. He may do the worst. But we're going to try him anyway. It would have been crazy. If we got another Shifter Xeris, that would have made it golden. If you get a golden Shifter Xeris, then you summon a golden version of whatever Shifter Xeris shows up as. I'm kind of looking for another Xeris because if I had the opportunity, I would like totally take it. I've never gotten a golden Xeris. Okay, so we did not improve at all. And that means things are going to be a little bit iffy for us. We're playing like super risky. This is not good strategy. But remember from last game, like Mama Bear, those Tavern Tier 6 guys, they're like super strong. Well, we could get one of those. We could get a 6-drop, we could get a strong 5-drop, and once you get one of those guys, like for instance a Baron Rivendare, then from that point forward, you just pick up all the minions that fit with him, and maybe they weren't good by themselves, but with the turbocharge from Baron Rivendare, they become super powerful cards. So we're gonna lose this one. I was expecting that. Let's see if we can pop this guy. Okay, that guy's fine. And now, no, hit this guy. That guy's a little bit. You're a little bit too much to the left. Yeah, we took a ton of damage. This is stupid. We should not have done this. But I want to show off. Let's see what we can get. Oh, Nadina. If we had a dragon, that would be great. Oh, and we're up against Dead Nefarian. So we have a little bit of time. Okay. Oh, we have 10 gold. So we're going to get Spawn. That's a potential pair. And now we're looking for dragons. Because she is super good with dragons. This is not a good dragon. So we're going to ignore that. Let me see. We will put this guy on the field. This guy here. We're going to sell this guy. We're going to roll. No dragon. No dragon. Still no dragon. Okay. We put her here. And we put him here. Roll. We change him to something else. We don't like that guy. This dragon's no good. So we've got somebody we can build around. But we need to go up a level so we can get stronger dragons. These Murlocs are not, like, terribly weak. I don't know. Maybe this guy got disconnected or something. That could be the deadness. No. I needed to, okay. No, this is not working. Come on, guys. There you go. Now she dies off. Gives him Divine Shield, which he already had. And we die by just one. That guy killed us. Or, you know, we lost to the dead guy. But he must have disconnected because he was not weak. Okay, so even though we are about to die, we have to level up here. That's actually good if we can find a couple of dragons. A couple of good dragons. Let's see if we can get like a level 4 dragon. Big dragon. Come on. Okay, that'll work. Okay.
Hiring that minion will get you a trip.
Okay. We're going to what are we gonna do? Sell you, sell
down
you,
a minion and
buy
up a
you.
gold.
Make sure we get everything in board space. You are a dragon. I will take something from the other guy last turn, which is a Murloc. I don't know why I did that. I don't have enough gold to do anything. Yeah, that was too late. I think this is going to be okay.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
So she gives all the dragons Divine Shield. Oh, that's not good. My dragons are good. Oh, man. Oh, he gets Divine Shield again.
Error 37.
Okay. I'm totally dead. Oh my goodness. Hydra just came in. Woo! I don't know if this is YouTube real. Let's play one more game of BattleGrounds, and then we'll play a game of chess. Maybe we'll put that all on one video. So, our really stupid strategy did not pay off. And that is actually surprising. I'm very surprised by that. Usually when I do something extremely dumb, people think that it's genius because I couldn't be that dumb. And so then it works because they say nobody could be that dumb. He's got an ulterior motive. And so on. Okay, so one of the worst new heroes, in fact, one of the worst heroes, is Ysera. And I don't know why. In effect, maybe it's almost like she doesn't have a hero power some of the time. Because what she does is, you know how the rolls cost 1 gold? Her hero power costs 1 gold. You get a roll, which is a normal roll, and she adds an extra dragon. So, there's a couple of ways to play her. One of the fun ones,
Hey, my favorite commander
which
is back. Ready to get
we
started?
are going to do, is to stay on one for a
It's not
little
the
while.
strongest, but it'll fight hard.
And then level, because on 1 we have this red whelp, and as you level it adds more dragons to the pool, but right now we just have these 2 dragons. And I'm gonna freeze
I'll make
because
sure
I
these
want
ones
this
stick
guy
around
next
for
turn,
next time.
and then I can roll to try to get another dragon. This guy sends out a little fire blast dependent on how many dragons you have.
Have a good
So as we
battle,
add
friend.
dragons, his attack gets stronger. Now, if you stay behind on your tavern tier, eventually your army gets too weak because you don't get those 4s and 5s and 6s, those big dudes, right? So you got to be careful, but we're going to stay on 1
battle is
for
really
just a
raging
little
out there.
while. Got ourselves a red whelp. Now, her hero power is she skips the first 2 turns. Then she gets to discover 2 Tavern 3 minions. And so she's going to be really strong next turn. But this turn, well, she's not so strong.
I think you can win this thing.
As you can see. So this turn again, this is a little bit.
Your minions
So what we want to
really
do, so
pulled
we've got
their
5
weight.
gold. Normally what you would do at this stage is buy 1, sell 1, buy another one. If you're here, because you've already leveled on 2 and so on. But we're going to roll. And we found ourselves a triple. So I think what we're going to do there's a couple of ways to do this.
Keep
We
up
could
momentum, friend.
level by the dragon, and then we get a 3 drop, right? Boom. See, this is why we like this. Boom. That's why we like this. And this is one of the strongest heroes in the game. So beating him early like that, because his hero power, it picks out a random dude, but it gets +1,
Your
+1.
minions really pulled their
And
weight.
it only costs 2 instead of 3. So the fact that it's random is mitigated by the power, right? The +1, +1, and the fact that it costs less. Guys, I was looking for a dragon, guys. So this is a big, beefy dude, but when he dies, he summons a 3/3. These are bad dragons. However, this guy is good. So I think I'm going to buy this guy, and I'll get this guy because he's not very good, but I could get it. It's a pair, and then I'll use my hero power. And then the turn after that, the tavern tier up will cost 6 gold. Okay, so this could go against us. Yeah. So we lose here. His hero power, he steals the first guy that he kills. Very strong hero. So this guy. Oh, good. We're up against Dead Yogg. Very nice. I am sad for Dead Yogg. Okay, so next turn. Should we buy Steward? If we buy him, then this guy deals 4 damage twice. Actually, it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll get... This guy's not a very good dragon. This guy's not a very good dragon. What we could have done, instead of buying him, we could have rolled first. Okay, this works.
I'll save these.
We get this guy and this guy next turn. Actually, we level by this guy probably still freeze, because this guy is still strong. Figure out what's in the box off of the Discover.
Keep up the
Level is
momentum,
5
friend.
here. Freeze, play. We only get 2 guys next turn. Boom. Boom. And I think we still do buy the red well. Because getting 3 flames of 4 is going to be really worth it. And what we're hoping is this triple guy gives us another dragon as a
Nice
4 drop.
work out there. Keep up the
Boom.
pressure.
Grab him. And next turn we're going to pick these 2 guys up. We're not very strong. Let me just emphasize that. For the moment, I mean, nobody's really all that good. Mechano Egg's okay. I think against AFK we need the stats. I want to get the Hydra. You know what? I've got 30 health. I'll take a hit for the Hydra.
These minions are slobs.
This guy, if we get him, you know, early like we have, we can start throwing out all kinds of little dudes. One thing about tripling this guy is it condenses the 2 into 1, so now this guy only does 2 damage twice, and so it takes us a step back on our little dragon expedition. So next turn, we're going to buy hero power. Probably sell this guy and then buy another guy. Because this guy, when he dies, he summons a 3/3 for the opponent. If this guy had 1 more attack, he would have killed both of those. A big difference. Okay. That was lucky getting that guy. Okay. Because that swipe could have gone over here. And that would have been a big difference. Okay, killed him. And that's a nice hit. That's a nice hit. 11. And, okay. I would have preferred 6 or 7.
Welcome back.
You know,
How's it
personally.
going out there?
So we do this, do this. We want to sell him because when, you know, like I said, when he dies, it's not the best. Okay. Now this could be interesting. I could buy him, but I think I'm going to buy him. I'm checking Alex Straza because when she gets to Tavern 5, she has a big power spike. She gets to discover 2 dragons. And she gets really good all of a sudden. So this guy helps these 2 guys, but this guy helps my Hydra, which I think is more important. I'm going to ignore the dragon. I think one of the reasons why people have trouble with Ysera is because they roll and they're only looking at the dragon slot. You get the roll, so you get all these guys. And if you don't take the dragon, the hero power is
this thing.
wasted, but it's just a regular roll. So, oh yeah, we're doing all right. We are doing fine here. Let me see. There we go. Hydra. Swipe. Swipe. Now hit him. Seemingly, we got more powerful. These two spawns are
You're
good.
good at this.
So, when we can, we are looking for... Let's see. He just took damage. Now, it was from AFK, but we just won. He just took damage. He's on 4. We're going to go to 4. We're going to get a dragon. Hopefully... Yeah, this is a good dragon. It's a good dragon. This is also a good dragon. I think at the moment, this is the better dragon. And we are also...
It's not the strongest, but it'll fight hard.
The question is, do we freeze for this dragon? If we buy this dragon, we've got 2 pair. This guy's harder to triple because we've already got 3 of them. You know, we're taking minions out of the pool, so we're going to see them less often. And I can't really play this until I get a triple. But when I do, this guy's strong. I can just sell this guy, though. Yeah, let's do that. After we sell this guy, we're going to want another taunt. So, if we find Defender of Argus, he can taunt up this guy. Then I have a taunt with Divine Shield, and that's quite good. The thing about having Divine Shield is, as I buff the guy with Divine Shield, it's like you're buffing it double. You know, the attack hits once, then it hits again. This is really sad. This hits for 5, and this guy survives. So I'm taking a relatively large hit here. The left. Okay. Not bad. No, I guess it's not. Well, still, yeah. 8, almost half my health. Maybe leveling was not the thing, but I think things could have gone better there, so...
Raging out there.
Overall... Aha. I'm up against Dead Guy. So I'm gonna go a little bit cray. Now what I want to do is get this spawn tripled so I have space for one more dragon. And you know what? Here's the sad thing. I've been collecting these guys. They're falling off in power level now. Even if I get 7 dragons, I mean, that's 28 damage between these guys. But if I have a Hydra, it's taking away from the power of these. So maybe I end up selling the Hydra. Or if I get the Hydra buffed, then I sell these guys. I have to choose one way to go. I have to commit. And I have to do it like next turn. And I have to get something that allows me to commit. Because otherwise I'm going to lose the battle after this one. And I'm just out of the game. So let's see how all of that goes. Regardless of everything, I'm keeping this guy for a long time. Because if I Argus him, then he's quite strong. He just takes 2 hits, right? And those 2 hits allow the rest of your strategy to unfold without being, without interruption. There we go. And I've got a Murazond, but I don't want anything that he has. Got this guy. I don't really want that guy. I've got another Hydra, which gets buffed +2/+2, but I don't know that I want another Hydra. And now I do want the other Hydra because I got a Mama Bear. So we're going to sell this guy, buy this guy. roll.
Go ahead and hire one of these recruits.
Well, we're not going to play that yet. Big roll. That's a good dragon. But this guy's better. Because we want another buff on the Hydra. And... I mean, we're almost definitely going to lose to Deathwing. He's just too powerful. The question is, do we keep the snipes or do we go for a little... No, we don't need more attack on the Hydras. So we're going to keep the snipes. We're going to try to swipe. This guy's really strong against Deathwing because he gets that +3 4 times. But Deathwing's going to have... Yeah, he's got beasts. So he's going to have those little rats that pop out and it's not going to be fun. But if these swipes snipe, we're gonna... Oh, man. He's Tavern tier 6. If he's Tavern 6 and he has all that health,
Keep up the momentum,
we're in trouble.
friend.
We're in trouble. Oh, this is winnable. This is winnable. If I get a couple of really good swipes. Yeah, I need to swipe this rat over on the right side. Good swipe. It's very close. But even if we lose, which we don't lose, we win. Okay. We wouldn't have died because it'd only be 1 + 6, 7. So we would have had 5 health left. And the fact that we beat Deathwing at his own game
Nice work out there. Keep up
is
the
okay
pressure.
by me. I mean, just I'm really glad I kept that extra snipe. So we've got Mama Bear. So we're gonna use our hero power because hey, it could be something awesome, but we're not gonna be too concerned about it. What we're really looking for is like a rat pack or this guy. And we sell this guy. Now we're looking for like an Argus. So we're gonna sell this guy so that the buff goes on these. We want the buff on this guy. Rat pack is amazing.
You're down a minion and up a goal.
And now we just roll down. Because we can't buy anything, so... This is interesting. We could save for Baron Rivendare. And this guy. Rivendare could go, yeah. Okay, we need... That was a good cleave. Okay, now... Okay, that's fine. What we really need is just to not die, because it looks like he's stronger than us. Okay. He's got this golden guy just making stuff. And our spawn didn't die. Need to taunt that guy. Need to taunt him. Okay. +2. And that's 3, 4. We can't die here. Okay, so he's on 8. I mean, he's on 4, so it's 8 damage. Okay. So he just went to 5.
Welcome back. How's it going out there?
Do want another wolf, and he was Mex, so This Murazon gives you a dude from the last battle. I doubt we're gonna want a dragon, but you know. Oh, okay. Now the reason usually you don't want to like triple this guy up because you get 2 attacks. Better to have 2 of those than 3. But the mama bear buffs him. Let's get him. He's dragon, so we actually don't want to use him. And this guy just never ended up being awesome.
I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
Him here. Do that. Argus. We got him, boys. We got that Argus. There's not a lot of people that can help us build, but Argus is one of them. And if we get another one, we could get Baron Riven there. Right now, that would be pretty good with a gold run. Or just spawn him just off.
You
know, it'll give us a little bit all the way across. Okay, that's good. That's okay. Oh, this guy's fun. Every time something loses Divine Shield, he gains Divine Shield. Now, I was just about to say, I don't think I should say it, but we just need to hope that our mama bear doesn't. And that's what happened. Okay, so we could get 4th here. 4th and above is like a win. No, we can't. Because we're fighting the guy in 5th, and he just destroyed us. He's got way too many 6 drops. That's crazy. He only had 3 triples, and those 6 drops. Maybe he got them all at 5. Maybe he had like a Shifter Xeris. That was pretty. I mean, that was pretty ridiculous. Okay, so now we are going to play a game of chess. So I love all games that involve some kind of strategy, whether it's like a Super Nintendo game or... Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I was like, it says 000 on the rec. It's not recording, but it's live. Okay. That almost stopped me cold. Okay, create a game. And oh no. We're gonna have to abort this. The time control is just way too fast. I usually play like a 5-8, but for this I'm probably gonna do like a. Let's do a 15-15. 15-16. And I mean that's a 10-minute. That's a 15-15, and he's okay strong. There we go. Okay, we are white. And I'm going to be explaining this at the basic level. We'll get, into more complicated things as we go along. But I'm not going to explain how the pieces move. This is an interesting move. We'll just say that. This is like I think it's called like a capture the flag game. There is a win condition, and that is the king. If you kill the king, you win the game. And the key to that is, how do we get this guy? Oh. Wow. This is not just aggressive, it's weird. Because you're opening a line to the king, and if we get this pawn out of the way, there's another line. And so this king, if he castles this direction, he'll just be a little bit more unsafe. Also, you're funking up this place with your knight. Like, what's he gonna do? And then this is weird. Because oh, I see. So we can play. So what I'm thinking is, if I can play this, and he has to go back, he either goes back to here, or if he goes back to here, it's terrible because I push him back and push him back, and I've control. I mean, like I have like total control. But if I push here, he can come in here, and he's hitting the rook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy here, cover this square, and I'm threatening to push here, and he'll probably trade, and then that opens up this file here, and maybe I can get a rook there sometime. So I'll show you. So if I go here and he has to back up, then this gives me pawns on all these squares. So if I do that, his best move is probably to go here. But then what he's done is he's allowed me to play this move. By playing here, he's allowed me to play this move for free. Free moves are, fun. Now if he goes to this square, then when I capture, then like we talked about, this line is open to the king. Now this is just terrible. That's just a bad move. I mean, like, I'm not trying to rag on him, but I have no idea what he's doing. And that's not because, like, his strategy is, like, super crazy, awesome. It's just, I mean, if he backs up here, the game is basically over. Because, like I was talking about, okay, so we're trying to get to the king, right? And that involves some very basic things, like if we're going to get to the king, we have to outnumber him. If we have to outnumber him, that means we need these guys to be close to him. And not just one. Like, we can't just, like, bring this guy in. He's not like Rambo Knight. Okay, so then, because he can't do all that stuff with the pawns like I was talking about, back the bishop up, this trade is really good. And I won't go into that exactly right now. But this pawn gets weak. He doesn't have his friends. And so I'm just going to block him so he can't come forward. And then we'll find a way to attack him later. And right now he can trade here, but I'll trade back. And even if he trades queens, we have this really nice place in the center. So like I was talking about earlier, we're trying to get to the king. So we have to get outnumbered around him. We have to outnumber him. That's the only way that we can get a decisive attack. So if we're going to outnumber him, we have to get our guys out. So, for instance, an application of that to this problem right here, we want to get him out, we want to get him out, we want to get this guy out. Really what you want to do early in the game is get your rooks looking at each other. So that means get everybody off the back rank. And then we slowly move them forward to get to the king. And they have to work as a team as they do that. So the key is, to get to the king, we have to control the squares on the path to the king, right? So the more squares you control over the board, the stronger your position, and from that position you can do some kind of attack and then you can win the game. So chess is actually about squares. Now what I'm thinking about now is I kind of don't want to trade queens because I'm in such a strong position. He's just so cramped. And because I'm controlling all these squares, I want his pieces to be stepping on each other. Like, this knight and this bishop want this square. The queen might want this square. There's nowhere else for these two guys to go. Like, if he goes out this way, where's he going to go from there? And they can't come out this way because I just pushed this pawn and there's nothing there. So his pieces are tripping on each other. But if these guys disappear, maybe he's okay because they're actually taking up space here, and that cramped nature of the position is what's causing him problems. So what I'm going to do here, he could push here. And I'm not sure that I mind that. Maybe I do, though. So I'm going to make a move that is a little bit odd. It's definitely not 100% normal or even like 50% normal. And it's not a move that I would tend to recommend. The basic idea is, okay, this guy's weak, right? So it's all about problem solving. Nope, we have a problem. Okay, so I'll explain what I was going to do, and then I'll explain why it's bad. It's actually pretty simple why it's bad, but the idea is a little bit subtle. If he pushes here, then, even if I trade here, he's going to have a pawn here, and this guy's not weak. He has a buddy, right? So weak guys don't have buddies. So I was thinking here, because then I can just trade, and if he takes back, then the bishop takes, right? Trade here, then we've got the bishop backing it up. But once he pushes here, he's actually threatening to bring his queen here. So when he pushes here, which he's going to, and I'm pretty sure I have to allow it if he wants it, I have to push here to lock her out, because I don't want this check to the king. Well, hold on a second. The knight is holding the bishop. This bishop can come back to attack the queen if she tries to check. Okay. Now the question is, do I want to do that? Other moves I can try, I could, just solidify this so that I can move my queen off this diagonal or even like to this square so then I can castle. Because I don't want to castle this way because my shield, the pawns act as a shield in front of the king. My shield has, you don't hold your shield out 2 feet away from you. You keep it close to the chest. This is where the battle's happening. I don't want my king in the battle zone. I want him tucked away, nice and safe. So I could just do this and let him lock up the king side. And then this guy is like a long-term asset. But in the meantime, I've got a lot of power. Another move I could consider is like play here so that I can play here. So that I can play here. Because if I play here now, this check is not fun. I don't want to trade this bishop off. I like him. Because right now I have both bishops and they're strong. So I'm just going to take away this square. This is a good square for him and him. And that makes them step over each other. And if he wants to trade queens, then I don't have to castle because my king is safe anyway. I can even be safe on this square if the queens aren't on the board. So in the meantime, I'm just going to take this square. So right now, my threat or my plan is to go here and then here. In the meantime, if he tries to stop that, then I can go. So he's trying to stop that threat. I can then go here and then push here. Now, this guy can go two, so I went one and then one. So it seems like I kind of did something that I could have done in one move with two moves. But right now, this is where he needs to be. But once there's a target here, you see the bishop, we can start to soften this guy up and get a lever to open up a line for our rook. Then he belongs on this square. So I didn't waste a move. But I want to play this first to prevent him from being able to just bypass, right? Because if I do this first and then he tries to do the bypass, then I can push here. And then no checks from the bishop because there's a pawn on this square. I know that all is very complicated, but the basic idea is that we use our pawns to open up lines for our pieces. Because once this guy takes, we have a line for the rook. The rook is like a cannon. You don't bring the cannons into the battle. You set up your cannons so that they have a weakness to attack, right? And then you barrage it. This guy's really slow. I don't get it. He's gonna chip here? I guess. Hmm. So what I'm thinking is if I go here and then he does this, which he wants to do, then I take and he takes and I take. And this is then pinned. Nope, nope, nope. Don't do that. Then pinned because we've opened up this line and I can capture this rook. But if I go here, he can then strike here. And when I play here, he can use that same tactic. He can take, and I can't take back because that line's open, which means can't do that. The line is open. We have to take this way. And that takes away support from here. But I don't need support here because he already pushed this pawn. He can't take this one, take, and take. He can't do that. So I think I can play here. Now, the question is, do I need to? Do I want to? I think it's worthwhile to prevent this move because it attacks our position, right? So we do's it. Hmm. I was thinking about like next move or the move after that, doing this thing again. But there's weird tactics there, and this is just not. It's not normal. It's not good. So squares, controlling squares. We're controlling these. We're controlling this one. Black is controlling this one, right? And so this push is meant to try to control all of these squares, right? Notice we're controlling squares on his side of the board. That's creating congestion in his position. It gives him less moves. If he has less moves, less options, um, more of his options are going to end up being bad. If they're bad, then he's going to have hard decisions. If he has hard decisions, he's going to make a mistake. Also, there's the fact that, this is just genuinely a good position for white. But we have to be careful. We have to be very careful because we are extended, right? As these pawns move forward, they lose squares. Okay, so what he's doing, he's gonna castle, put his rook on this square, try to put pressure here. So for now, we're just gonna bolster this, right? And I think now, if he takes here, we're gonna take here. We're gonna make a chain like this. And if he pushes, we can still pull forward. Yeah, that's good. So now this is very solid. I'm going to put the queen on c2. I'm going to castle just like him. The rook's going to be here. And there's going to be maybe some tactics with the queen because the rook's on the same line as the queen. If things open up, it's not going to be good. One potential minor issue is that this pawn gets undefended. There's no way to attack it because this pawn blocks. Notice this cramped position means I have a little bit more leeway with my pieces. I don't want to leave things loose because if you have two or three things that are loose, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So he's locked up this. And that means that what we want to do, first of all, interesting. Okay, hold on. You know what? I think we take here because this pawn is controlling this square. And once it is gone, I can push here. Not immediately, but there's no pawn blocking the way. This pawn later on wants to become a queen, but that's way in the future. For now, this guy is like really nicely blockading. He's keeping things safe. Once the pawn advances, he can maybe pop out sometime, once random things happen. One other key to this idea is that once I take here, I can push this pawn and it locks up this entire side of the board, and then my rook has a target. So we does it. Oh, interesting. We may not want to push this pawn. This is really good strategically, but we can also put the bishop on this diagonal. And this is really good as well, because once we get the bishop here, let's say we get the bishop to this square, then we push the pawn. And when the bishop's on this square, it's attacking this knight, or this pawn. The only thing is this knight covers this square. So maybe the bishop doesn't go there. Because, we're going to threaten a check, then castle. Anyway, we need to move faster. So I'm just going to lock it up. I mean, this is really strong. This pawn cannot go anywhere. These pawns are strong. Super strong. This pawn by itself isolates two pawns. Because if this guy goes forward, for the basic level chess players, I'm not going to explain all the moves like I just said, how the pieces go and all of that. There's a move called en passant. And a lot of people are confused by this move, but it's very, 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 very simple. just imagine this. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a Wookiee, and he was playing a game with his, you know, droid friends, right? And at that time, the pawns, as they were called in this galaxy, could only go one step no matter what. Like on the first move, second move, whatever. You could only go one step. And so at the beginning of the game, people would go one step, one step, one step, one step. So they said, wait, why are we doing that? We just eliminate that. Why don't we just go two steps? And imagine this is, the droid suggests the rule. The Wookiee says, hey, we could do that. We could do that. Well, what's going to happen the first game when the Wookiee got this pawn all the way down here, and before this pawn could only go one, and this guy could capture him, and the droid's like, you know what? We got that new rule. Boom! I just went past you. Well, the Wookiee's going to rip his arms off, right? So, to prevent that, the droid says, oh, hold on. Okay, I see. Why don't we make this fair? If I jump past you with my two-move rule, you can take me just for that one move as if I'd only moved one. So we preserve that situation that we had before, and I preserve my arms. See? It's very simple. People get confused by it all the time, but if you understand the history of the game, and I think castling was invented in like the mid 1400s or the 1500s, somewhere in there, on Tatooine. If you look at the history of the game, see, I don't know what this knight is doing. Obviously, he's going to push my bishop back, but he has nowhere to go from there, right? And, let's say he runs his queen in here, then I just bring my queen here, and then his queen has nowhere to go. And, well, I mean, his queen could go here, right? But I just trade, and now this pawn is desperately weak. It's just going to fall off the board. Like, I could even just bring the bishop back and just eat it, and what's he going to do about that? So it looks like he's making aggressive moves, but he's really not. Now, this knight can come to here, and then I have to ask myself a kind of difficult question. Do I want to lose this guy, or do I want to lose this guy? But it's only difficult if you... It's only difficult. There is a little bit of a conundrum here. I may have to forego castling for this game. But there is an upside. And it's a pretty big upside. Wait. I've got a better idea. Okay. Better idea. We're going to go here. Because I don't care about trading queens. Trading queens is no biggie. And if he declines the queen exchange, he's still got pressure here, but this is defended and he can't bring the knight in. In fact, the reason I didn't go here is because if, let's say, okay, I go here instead, right? The queen's over here. And the knight comes here. I have this little pawn fork. However, he's got a little tricky move. he can take this bishop, threatening my queen. And if I take his queen, boop. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Then he takes my queen, and there's a check, and he also gets my rook. So I get a queen, he gets a bishop, a queen, and a rook. Not so good. So this move allows this move, and then I have that weird decision. This move takes away the option of that move. And like if I, queen takes, the knight gets out. Okay, so he goes there. And I think there is one problem that I've just seen about this move. Now, where's the knight going? Because even if like I do this, he's got like nowhere to go. So I have to get the queen off this square sometime. If I castle, I'm gonna be there's gonna be a pin on this pawn, so I can't do something like this and this. But I can just move my king over, and then we can do that. So I think what you do here is you castle, and I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to do it, and I am also going to hope that, it all works. In the meantime, we have to look at this. So we want to... What do we want to do? Like, we don't want to move this bishop because then the pawn can push, and she's, looking at this rook. So we want to get the queen out of the way. But where do we put her? Maybe we put her here? Okay, so now he's going to come after me. He's like, I want blood. But it's going to take him some time. He can't push here. He can't break because we're too solid. So we don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to do this. And now, well, actually I could have done this last move, but I could do this. He can come in here, but if he does, I take, and then he gets a line open for the rook down to my king. That doesn't seem great. But actually, what I can do, if he comes in here, I can push, threatening the queen. If he decides to ignore the threat and take the bishop, I take the queen, he takes the rook, I take the knight, and we traded a queen for a rook, because this knight traded for this bishop, and that's equal, and the rook and the queen. So if he comes here, and if, let's say, he goes somewhere else, right, then I can capture, and I get a free pawn. And then he's still got this open file, but in the meantime, I got a free pawn. His king's not safe. I'm on the diagonal thing that I talked about earlier, way back when he moved this pawn. Like I'm on this diagonal, right? It's great. And that means his king is pretty much never going this direction, which means I know where his king's going. It's either here or here. Never here. So eliminating options, right? Just eliminating options gives you the ability to control the game and create chances to win. And all I'm doing is just taking away his squares. So he's trying this dealio. I think in the meantime, I'm going to ask him what he thinks about this move. So finally, now we're controlling these squares. This bishop controls this diagonal. This bishop controls this diagonal. And even like now, if he castles, then I have this move for free with check and whatever's happening over here, right? So, or push it again. Not twice. Like that. See? So the control of the squares takes away his options. Now, there's things I can do here. Like, for instance, now that I have this square, and this is a little bit potentially dangerous, pushing this to drive this knight back, because he can only go here. And from there, he doesn't have any options. And if I do this push, and because the queen has to move right now, and he comes in here, I get that free pawn, and there's no way his rook can really get to my king because this pawn is sitting strong with two guys backing it up. Now remember, I said don't push the shield in front of your king. So that entails quite a bit of risk. Maybe I don't want to do that with only 3 minutes left on my clock. And him maybe willing to sacrifice that pawn. But for instance, right now, if he moves his queen back here, he's forced into this. So I can make that happen. Question is, do I want it to happen? Because later on he can push here, but I've got, remember, two backup guys, so he never gets that line all the way open, and he can never hit this with this guy, okay, because I've got the en passant, I've got the Wookiee move. One interesting move I can do is this. When he moves his knight, I get this check. But when he goes and puts his king here, I don't know what to do after that. So he can't push this pawn right now because of two things, right? He can move the knight here, right? Since he can, okay. This is a little wild. Hmm. Oh, there's one other problem. When the knight goes here, it's going to interrupt the bishop to this pawn. And because of that, this pawn will be under fire. So, like, I'm controlling these squares, but I've also committed to defending. If he can get pressure, then eventually this could crack. And then his pieces can run buck wild in all the squares that I gave up along the way. Because the pawns no longer control squares in my own camp. And he's got these. If he can find a way to, sink a knight in that square, then he'll be very happy. Okay. So he can do this, and then I really want to take. So I'm going to force him to do that because I want this pawn forward. I'd rather have that pawn forward. And then this queen is now defending this pawn from that place. And I've got real protection. That means I give up this really powerful bishop, which I don't like. But since he can go here anyway, I just want this guy. I don't want him back here, because then I can't take this pawn, because he just gets checkmate. Right? Now, I could do something like this, but, it's just wonky. I don't like it. I don't like it. In the meantime, okay, here's my long-term plan. Yeah, okay. We'll do, this is called a pre-move. He's going to take back. I take. Now, this is something that we can do. Okay? It's really interesting. If we put the bishop back here, right? That takes 2 moves. It sets up this move. And when the knight moves, that gives us this move. And that is checkmate. Because we've got the bishop here and the queen here. And that is a really fun little crossfire. And it's really sneaky too. I wanted to do that a few moves ago, instead of this move. But the problem was that the knight was going to interrupt this pawn. I just didn't like that. And I could have let's say, play here and let the knight come in and capture him. But then when I play here, I don't get that same crossfire because I don't have a piece on this diagonal. Now, what ends up happening in that line is that this pawn comes forward, the knight moves, the pawn comes forward, and the king cannot go to this square. He has to go here because of he won't be safe. And I do get a queen, and the rook has to take, and then I get the rook. So that still works. I mean, that is acceptable. If he takes with the pawn, then this guy can be a little weak, but not really. And we can push here later to kind of isolate this. In the meantime, there's one guy that's wanted to get into the action from the very beginning. Remember, I talked about getting your pieces out. Well, neither one of us has really done that. The thing is, he still can't. And I can. Now, there is an interesting maneuver here. He can put the knight on this square. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, what I'm going to do is, if he moves the knight back here, I may just push this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Should have done it with this one. But what I'm going to do, okay, so this guy captures, right? And I'm just going to put my knight here. Now, this knight cannot go to this square, right? I'm sacrificing the pawn for a couple of things. And later on, I can attack the pawn, and I think it'll be fine. Another thing I can do is put the rook here. Problem is, when the knight comes here, he's attacking this pawn, and that's not good. I'm just going to have to put the knight there anyway. So I might as well... Oh, wait. I can put the rook here. Because if he goes there, I could just trade it. And then I can take this pawn. Okay, I'll do it that way. And I could have done that before. I didn't need to worry at all. Now I've got this totally open file for my rooks. So that was a temporary pawn sacrifice. And now this guy is going to march. So I want to take him back now because he's got a buddy coming. Right? I've got this guy firmly blockaded. I think we just come in. Right? We go on a light square because the bishop's dark square. So he's blind to the light squares. So that's where we sit. This guy can advance. we want to do this because as soon as the bishop comes out, we want to push this pawn. And then we want to put this guy here. And if he backs up, that's just good because his rooks aren't looking at each other. So they don't support each other. And I couldn't push the pawn without the rooks being connected because of the king. So these pawns on dark squares, we have to be a little bit careful because what they do is they restrict the bishop. They control the squares on which the bishop wants to operate, right? So he can't go here, can't go here. He can go here. The problem with that is there's nothing over here. He's not attacking anything. The key is we control this square because, like I said, the danger, he is... I don't know what that is. That seems very dangerous. Yeah, I'm threatening. I'm just going to take this guy. And this, he can't come forward because this is checkmate. You know, the knight's covering this square. This square is covered by the rook. And he's just dead. So, I mean, he can try to trade, but I'm just going to cover, right? And I want to keep this file. So if he takes, obviously I take back. But if he comes this way, right? Then I want to draw his rook to this file. And the reason for that is because these entry squares. Remember, I talked about the rooks sit back and they look through. Well, what they're really looking for is an opportunity to hit one of these two squares. And sometimes, you know, like these, and come sideways to attack weaknesses, like I just did, right? Pop, pop. You get the cannon set up in enemy territory, and they come through. Now that doesn't work, because the knight can just do its thing. But first, if I have the knight here, the rook looks really dumb. So I want the rook past the knight. Because of that, I do this check. And then we know that this is checkmate. So he has to go here, and I get the rook here with tempo. The king is forced back, not to there, but to there. Because if he goes here, then we have this check, and we take this rook. Right? Yeah. Okay, good game. So, that was very smooth. And it's really hard to see where I could have improved. And it was, sorry, buddy, no rematch. It is interesting to see, like, how it became smooth. What was easy about it? Let's say. Let me see if I'm still streaming. Wow, I'm still streaming. That's great. This is gonna be a long YouTube video, let me tell you. Okay, so we start with this, and you know the whole idea is to control the center. Okay, we want to put this guy here, maybe even another guy, and we don't want to move just pawns, but behind the pawns, which are like a shield, right, covering squares, we can organize our pieces, right? And then that gives us the place to slowly put our pieces in the right position to come after the king. You know, this guy's got bad aim. So, very general, very messy how I'm talking. He decides, I'm not going to control the center. I'm not going to occupy the center. My version of controlling the center is to let you into it, and then I will squish you until you lose it, and then I will take control later, and you will be dead, right? So, this, I have no idea. I mean, it challenges the center, right? But the problem is, I mean, overall, it's just a gross move. It's just gross. It's really bad. You never, never, never move this pawn. It just opens up lines to your king. So it's just bad. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I don't have any, you know, animosity toward the guy who played it, but a bad move is a bad move. So I just bolster the center, and I'm looking maybe to later open up lines or look across this way. And you saw that line ended up being very important. Okay, so now I'm threatening to play this move, and I play it because this is like a wasted move. He just all he did was take away the square of the guy that I got out because I want to get guys out. That's it. And he didn't get a guy out. I got one out. He did not. This is not a guy. These are the guys. Yeah. These are the guys. These are the other guys. So we take and we block this guy. Also, we're one other we could have done this move right here. Let's open up the analysis board because now we can actually move the pieces. Sorry about the whole, let me just draw things all and then checkmate. Woo! It's the greatest. Yeah. I didn't know how else to do it. So, and I get you could tell I'm more of a generalized ideas kind of person. Oh, I missed a really good move here. Like ridiculous. I could just move here. This is just like game over. Because it doesn't matter where he goes. Okay, so there's pressure here. So I guess it kind of does matter. So now I play here is the key. And what's he going to do? I'm threatening to play here. I guess he plays here. It just seems so wonky. Okay, so then we hit this guy. And he's captured. Oh, no. He comes in here. So we take. We get a free pawn. This is fine. Yeah, this is like game over. We get a free pawn. Free pawn is actually game over. Oh, you know what? Okay, so he has a little bit of wonky stuff. Come in here. But we defend. I mean, that check. Remember, the F pawn. You know what? I said never move this pawn. Never. And then I moved this pawn. That's hilarious. The reason why I could do that and he can't is because I have space. So that keeps him out. But I do have to be careful of this check. I do. And because I have this pawn and it's easily bolstered, this guy doesn't really get this diagonal. So it's iffy. He didn't have to do that. I kind of almost was forced to do it. And it's still not the greatest. You still have to watch out. But mine was good and his was bad. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so back. So we can play this. And that's really good. This is really strong. Because let's say he does this, which he's probably not going to do. But I could just do this. And where are those guys going? I mean, like, ever. So, not so great. Like, even if this guy comes out here, I mean, where's he going from there? He can't go here. He's got nowhere. Where's this guy going? What's he going to do? Go here? Go here? It's just not going to work. So, this move was bad, and this move was good. Because now I can't do that. And I never even saw it. I saw that I couldn't later, but I didn't see that I could. And that was a big... I bet you the computer's going to say do this. So let's go through. Okay. And these are all good. And this one now opens up the possibility of doing this. But, oh, I could do this right now. Again. Like, why didn't I? Because now, what? He's going to go here? This is kind of risky. I mean, that just loses the knight. Okay. Nothing doing there. So, I guess he's going to step on both of their toes and lock him up forever. And then I just do this. And then what? He does this. But if he does that, then I just come forward again. So, I mean, this is like untenably destructive. And what I was thinking, actually, I did think about this move here. And I thought, oh, he can do that. And I can't take because of the pin. But actually, it's not. I thought for some reason he'd win a piece here. Like win the rook. It was just bad tactics thinking. So I locked this up. I didn't even think about this. And now he gets to lock it up. Again, he's thinking about the right things. And again, I could just do this. Because even if he goes here, I can push here. I mean, I'm just coming forward. And there's nothing he can do about it. So I played a little bit passively because I had a good position. And I'm like, hey. And he's trying to lock up the advance. And it's really smart of him. He's trying to lock it up. And again, I think you just push. I mean, what's wrong with it? He can't take, right? And I'm coming forward. So I got a little bit complacent because I knew my position was good. And still, I'm making moves that maintain my good position. He doesn't get a better position. Well, actually, he did get... I mean, this becomes complicated now. Notice again. He's stopping me from going forward. And all this time, I'm never thinking about that. I'm never thinking, I should just come forward. I should have done it. So I finally come forward, but it's a little late because I don't get backup. And he gets this guy on this square. So I get the pawn. He should not have traded queens. Now, I mean, this is absolutely winning. But it's taking work. I have to do good moves and technique. If I did the advance in the center, that was crushing. Just take over. Right? And he has no way to get over onto my side of the board. So what I'm doing here is I'm just opening up. Because I have the option of attacking this, I want to break first. Because if I go here... Well, what I was thinking is he can stop this and he can go here. But I didn't see I could take him. So this works either way. I could have done the rook first and then that. And this is, I mean, it's all locked up. I get the second pawn. And, okay, so like, let's say he does this. This becomes, I mean, it's just really, 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 really bad. I can do this. I don't know if I want to. Because it leaves this... Well, now the square is being controlled by the rook, so I can. It makes this pawn just a little bit wonky. Because it can, like, suddenly threaten to race in. And this bishop's controlling that square. So, maybe not. Maybe not. But anyway, he has to back up. And once he backs up, then I can take this pawn. And, you know, it's just over. It's just gone. And now, like, let's say the pawn goes here. I could just control this square. And then come in here. And, like, you know, the bishop can get onto this square, but then I just do this, right? And here's the key. I'm so strong right now that even if, like, he could come to this square, but he can't do the other one. Uh, Even if I have to, it is completely and totally fine. Let's say that this move. No, that threatens the knight. I'm just gonna make a pass move, right? He just passes. I could just take this bishop. I'm trading a rook, stronger piece for a weaker piece, but I get another pawn, and it removes his only viable threat, and I have total control, right? Connected pass pawns here. They're just gonna march. These are just gonna march. That's if I have to. So remember, I have options. But I can avoid all that because I don't have to put the knight, in play. I don't have to take this pawn. So that's another option. I could just put the rook on this square. I could just push this guy. Like, for instance, right now, if I push this guy, I'm threatening. Pass. Nope, not that pass. Let's say this pass. He's I'm gonna get your pawn. No, dude. I'm gonna check you. Then I'm gonna check you. Then I'm gonna take your rook. And now I'm threatening the queen with mate. So it's just totally dominating. And it's because he just let me have all that space in the beginning. Anyway, long video, y'all. Long video. I want to tell you that I am glad to be streaming. I'm glad to be doing this. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. Really, I stream to Twitch so I can put it on YouTube. Just let me know what you think. I'm gonna be doing a lot of games, a lot of different games, but this is getting way too long. And thank you for watching. I may split this. I don't think I'm gonna split it up because I like the 2 battlegrounds plus the chess. It's just weird, and I'm weird. So, thanks.